record. You guys are all set.
Cool.
Okay, sounds good. So I do have one awkward ask. Would you be able to record a station liner for
Sure.
WMTU?
Sure.
Okay.
WMTU.
Yeah, all you have to say is your name and then, the bands you're associated with, and then WMTU 91.9 FM Houghton.
Oh boy. Let me write this down because I'll screw it up. I'm an idiot. Um, let's see here. All right. Forgive me. All right. So W M
MTU,
M.
Michigan Tech University,
Okay. And
91.9 FM
90,
Houghton.
91.9 FM.
Houghton, like,
Hoden.
yeah.
Hoden. 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 All right. I'm going to try it. I'm going to try
Okay,
it now. All right.
go ahead.
Hey, what's happening? This is Myles Kennedy from Alter Bridge and Slash and the Conspirators and a lot of other things. You're listening to WMTU 91.9 FM Houghton.
All right, that sounds perfect.
Great.
I can tell you're a professional.
Well, my memory is shite, but
Okay, so I'm going to get into the questions. My name's Wade. I'm doing this for Events Magazine Online.
awesome.
So I did listen to the album. So Disregarded has my favorite riffs of the album, I
Oh, cool.
think.
Right
And
on.
Slave to Master also has some memorable riffage, in addition to being a sort of epic track. So is there a riff or a vocal part on the new album that pushed you technically?
Well, technically, yeah, the kind of, there's a funny story. There's a song called Power Down, which um was written. Long story short, I had a guitar. I was sitting there, and Selena, my partner and wife, she came home and she laid some bad news on me about like what the bill was going to be from like an HVAC guy. I was like it was something crazy, and I was just like, you got to be kidding me. And I remember just like out of frustration coming up with that riff. It was just born out of pure frustration with the HVAC industry. But it was kind of a tricky riff to get down because it's all down picking and it was at such a tempo that I had to really kind of woodshed for a while before I actually demoed it and presented it to the band.
Sure.
But that's the cool thing about this. The dynamic in this band is sometimes you'll write a riff knowing like Mark's great with down picking, like he's really good, and so you'll know like he's gonna the way he attacks the string is really going to make this riff come to life. And so it's great to have that.
All right. And what's a moment in your career where your approach to singing or writing changed in a big way? What was like the I guess the metamorphosis moment?
I think for me, it boy, it's well, there was one of the things that changed a lot was and this is kind of the gory details. For years, I had this like problem. I kept getting these chronic sinus infections, and it was really affecting how I would sing. And I'd get real nasally, and it was affecting consistency. So I had this. They went in and they did this thing where they opened it up and made it so I could breathe again. And so anything kind of like pre 2015, I would almost want to go back and re-record
Sure.
because it felt like I suddenly had a new instrument. That was a good thing. But I think stylistically, I've learned to really embrace my lower register more in the last 10 years. It doesn't always have to be super high. I feel like the timbre is I think oftentimes a little more pleasing to the ear than when if it's always high.
Sure.
That took me a while to figure out. I like to use the high stuff just to kind of punctuate things and as for drama, but I also feel much better singing lower and leaning more into my Paul Rogers influence versus the Robert Plant influence.
Barry White
Yeah, I'm a Barry White. Exactly.
or Johnny Cash too.
Right, right.
So, is there a song in the Elter Bridge catalog that means something different to you now than when you wrote it originally?
I think there are probably a lot along the way. But I'm drawing a complete blank. at the moment.
Okay,
But yeah, I mean, I think that songs do tend to take on new meaning as time goes on. You can find a new, kind of insert a new set of circumstances that you've lived through that maybe you didn't understand prior. And I think that, I think a song like, Miss You When You're Gone or Wonderful Life or songs like that about loss. I mean, you definitely, the older you get, you experience loss more and more. And so they just become more, they have even more meaning, because you have so much experience with that,
sure.
being a human. Yeah.
And there's a bit of a two-parter. How do you protect your voice on a long tour? And there are also legends of some singers deliberately not protecting their voice to keep it raspy or not raspy, I meant to say.
Rasky.
I don't know how
That's a
that
new
happened.
word. You invented a new word.
I guess I did. But is that true that there are also some singers who don't go out of their way to protect their voice? Have you heard of that?
I've heard of singers that like that sound, like they like that,
Sure.
they want to go for more of that. Yeah, they kind of, it's like a tube amp, you want to turn up work those tubes harder and get more gain. I think for the way that I sing, I tried that, interestingly enough, and that kind of goes back to your question earlier. Like, so in the 2010-ish, 11-ish, when I started playing with Slash, I started to incorporate more of the rasp thing at times, right? And but what I found is that when I would do that, it would really degrade my ability, especially with pitch. I was like, well, and
Sure.
I'd ask myself, well, yeah, the raspy thing here at times is kind of cool, but I'm like, if unfortunately my ear is such that it really does not like if you're not spot on with the pitch. And so I'm like, yeah, I think I'm going to opt for keep using a cleaner tone and stay and keep this from going flat. Um, yeah, that's definitely, that's just the way I do it. But I know there are guys out there who have just these really cool sounding raspy and they don't worry, but they kind of they party and they do their thing. And I
Yeah.
look at them and I go, man, I would last a week on the road if I lived that way. So I'm kind of envious because like they get to have fun. They get to talk. That's the thing I hate more than anything is a Tony Harnell. He's a buddy of mine. He sang in a band called TNT, an incredible singer. And he said something to me once that really stuck with me. And he's just like, the lonely life of a singer on the road. And I was like, yeah, it's true because you just kind of always have to be aware how much you're using this. And that's why I don't do a lot of interviews on the road.
Sure.
Because but once again, some people like they can talk all day and they're
Yeah.
fine for the show. But this, for whatever reason, and my voice is a delicate flower.
All right. And I don't know if you can hear that. There's a snowblower or something going on
No, I
right
can't.
now.
Uh-uh.
Oh, you can't? Okay, that's good.
No, I don't know.
So what recent musicians or records have sparked new ideas for you? Is there anything out there that's kind of fresh?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't know if it sparked ideas in the sense that it's nothing that has rubbed off on me creatively. I think it's different enough to where I think there are three records that I really probably listen to the most. Um, Obviously, well, four. Wolfgang's new record's great, and Mammoth's great. That's awesome. But that's kind of in the same genre of like what we do to a point. Um, but as far as different things that who knows, maybe it'll influence me in some way. I don't know. I love Sam Fender's latest record. I think he's like did an interview and like that guy is like should be a national treasure in the UK. What a brilliant songwriter. And I'm the record I probably listened to more than anything this year is the latest Wet Leg record. I think it's called
Okay.
Icebreaker. I mean,
All
I
right.
can't those songs are so catchy and so good, and she's such a great singer, and the melodies are so good, and it's to me it just checks like every single box. Where I'm like, that's good rock and roll. Like that's a good band. Like
And
I'm a
is there anything you listen to that might surprise people? For example, Slayer guitarist Jeff Hanneman was also known as a fan of the B-52s, and
what
yeah,
really
he proudly brandished a Dead Kennedys logo on his guitar, which is another band that not everyone would associate with Slayer. So I'm
right.
curious if you've got any bands like those or any guilty pleasures
Guilty
that you
pleasures.
don't think.
Oh, how much time do you have?
I don't know. I don't know.
I I have a oh yeah, I definitely have guilty pleasures. I don't know. I think you've probably heard this a lot. Yacht rock. I mean, I've
Oh, sure, sure.
yeah. I mean, that's just like give me some Little River Band. I mean, I love Little River Band, and but that's almost so many people like that. I don't know if you can even call it a guilty pleasure at this point. I do really, as far as things that are different. I mean, I'm kind of I've said it quite a bit. Ella Fitzgerald's a big one for me. Like that's a really, I, I probably in the last 10, other than Steely Dan, the last 15 years have listened to Ella probably more than anything. She was
Sure.
just as a singer, that's the North Star right there. I mean, that's what you want to shoot for. She was incredible. Yeah.
All right. And if the band ever hits a creative wall, what helps you break through it? Or does that just not happen very
No, it
often?
happens. Oh yeah, it
Or,
happens. Oh yeah. Uh, I just need to step away and, just do something not music related and kind of get away from it and that's hard sometimes because I get so I'm like if you ever play fetch with a dog and you throw the ball and then the ball kind of goes behind the couch, they won't stop till they find it. And that's kind of how I am with song. It's like if I need to find this part that's going to finish the rest of the song or else I can't sleep and I'm obsessive. But as I've gotten older, I realize that there's more to life than just chasing the next part down, and so I've definitely had to it's about balance. So stepping away is important.
and how do you balance between writing for Alter Bridge and your solo work and Slash's band and other projects?
Yeah, it's kind of like when I know I'm going into a project in the next year, then I just start setting ideas aside. And, my brain's always kind of in that realm. I'm in a very unique situation right now, a situation I don't know if I've been in frankly, decades, because the Alter Bridge record is coming out soon. That's written and done and recorded. The record I did with Slash, we got ahead with that one, got that in the can, and now, I'm done with everything there. So now I'm kind of sitting here going, huh, what do I do? And I don't want to write right now. I intentionally am not writing. I'm doing strange things that I've never done before, like haven't done in years, like taking college courses and just, trying different,
Or,
just trying to like become a little bit more of a well-rounded person. But then I'm sure in the coming weeks, I'll probably pick up a guitar again and start chipping away at something.
yeah, not everybody can say that they've jammed with somebody like Slash before, let alone actually sat down and recorded full albums and stuff like that. So that's got to be a unique position, really.
It's a great position. It's one that I don't take for granted. I mean,
Sure.
I've been stupidly lucky with how life has turned out. And if you'd have told me 20 plus years ago that this is how it was all going to work out, I'd have been like, you're full of it.
Oh, sure, sure.
Yeah, it's been a good run.
Well, I mean, I've got to toot my own horn here because I've interviewed Neil deGrasse Tyson. That was crazy for me.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
So yeah, I still can't get over that. And I probably talk about that way too often, but
amazing.
it's great. It's great that I can say that,
That's amazing. That's amazing. Congrats.
And what's something fans would be surprised to learn about how Alter Bridge works in the studio?
Well, one thing, here's a little useless bit of trivia on the third record. You asked like, how do you kind of break away if you get, kind of get your mind off of things? And
Sure,
third record was was kind of on par with this one in terms of how dark it was. Maybe that's the only other record in the catalog that's consistently as intense and dark as that one was. Um, and so to kind of break that up a little bit, we had, I had Brian, our bass player, set up his laptop and we found this webcam that someone had, and I think it was called Brendy's Pugs, and and it was a webcam on just a little batch of newly born pug puppies that during the entire arranging process was just on, just little dogs running around on this computer screen. So you juxtapose that with these songs about, losing faith and, just super dark, right? It was kind of
Yeah,
funny, but yeah, it's those funny little things that can kind of, help you keep your sanity when you're making a record.
I suppose, yes. So, I guess this could be the final question. If you could give young musicians one piece of advice about finding their own sound, what would that be?
I think that to me, that's the most important part of the journey is find out who you are. And you will go through I certainly did. It took me years to find who I was. There was so much mimicry going on initially, and until it's kind of like, you're cooking something and you're putting in a lot of one particular flavor, and then that kind of it overtakes the whole thing. And for me, like initially in the early Mayfield 4 days, I'd just heard Grace. I'd just seen Jeff Buckley perform live. It changed my life. And it was all about Jeff Buckley and Tom York. And which,
Yeah.
interesting enough, I didn't realize that Tom was influenced by Jeff Buckley. So all of that was very influential to me. But when I listened to those first, that first record in particular, I'm like, oh boy, you really didn't know who you were yet as an artist. And so and I think that's the key thing is, who are you as an artist? What are you? What is your, literally and figuratively, what is your, what's your voice in this world? And that can take a long time. And so the advice I would give is to be patient and to keep chasing it down. And you'll know when you find it. You'll be like, oh, there I am. And when you find who you are, it's the best. Yeah.
All right, I guess that's the final question. Other than, could I also make this into a podcast episode? Would I have your permission, or would that?
Yeah, that's fine with me if
Okay.
Kevin's cool with it.
All right.
Cool.
So I'm gonna double dip then, I guess.
Double dipping.
Yeah.
I love it.
So, well, I'll thank you for your time, and you have a nice day and all that. And
Thank you, Wade. You
yeah,
too.
all
Can you
right.
hear my dog in the background? See, now I got sounds
Oh
coming.
no, I can't actually.
Yeah, he's freaking out and our cat's freaking out. It's
Huh.
like Dr. Doolittle around
So I
here.
don't know, Kevin. I guess you could stop recording if you want.
I got it. I'll end the call. Thanks, MK. Thanks, Wade.
Okay. All
Thanks,
right.
guys.
Thanks.
All right.
Bye
Bye-bye.
bye. Nice
All right,
talking to you.
good talking with you.